All right, February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2.
So what do you think, Mr. Wright?
I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all... Which one's Lana again? Oh. Oh, her sister.
Yeah. Not Lana. Different.
Oh, I know. If I'd seen Lana, my heart would have sang, it's fine.
Oh. Oh my god. Patty Papas.
Patty Papas.
The victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at the other crime scene. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed.
I hope they didn't hold you for I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning.
We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It says Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are.
Miss Skye.
Hmm?
We discovered traces left by a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall.
You found Officer Marshall's traces?
Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you?
In order to defend my sister, you going to accuse Mr. Marshall?
Fuck yeah. We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye?
Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright.
She's so frustrating. She's not helping at all. February 20th.
She's really not.
She's not. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify.
It takes 30 minutes by car to reach criminal affairs from the prosecutor's office. The victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Wow, this is one messed up trial.
Indeed. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Oh, he's on top of things. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself.
And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? You admire it, don't lie.
Don't lie.
Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
Oh no. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Meekins. Oh boy! Things are getting wild from the get-go.
Edgeworth does not care.
Fucking Meekins.
Fucking Meekins. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Yes, sir! I am the officer Mike Meekins, sir! My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir!
That's not your occupation. So you're telling us you're a professional killer?
Sir, it was me! Sir, it was me, sir! I'm the one who did it! I'll never kill anyone again, sir! You save me, sir.
Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is...
Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir.
Fucking millennials.
Fucking millennials.
A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, please help me. Help me, sir.
Officer Meekins.
Yes, sir.
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir.
And we're destroying everything. Sorry.
You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
Nope, not at all.
Witness testimony crime report, sir.
Sir. I just had flashbacks of fucking Cadet Kelly. Anyway. That's old school. That's fine.
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, and then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you?
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's what the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted and the colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin his cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. All right. Cross-examination. Hey, so now...
So we want to press everything.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Also, hi, Fran. I figured that might be the best course of action.
Yes.
So just in a row?
Yep, in a row. Let's do it.
Let's press it. Although... Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes, now there's a scary thought.
Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the blue badger, sir.
The mascot.
Guard it.
Guard it
Someone
with your
might
life.
steal it.
Yeah. Oh, the blue... The blue badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the head detective, sir.
Oh my god.
It was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
He's trying to say, like, they don't trust you with shit.
No, they don't.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the blue badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there?
Yeah, it does look nothing like a badger, right? And thank you for the clip, Afri. Thank you, to be fair, for posting. Hi, Blue Beast. Hello, hello. All right, so press I spotted. Hold it. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir.
Goddamn.
Precisely, sir. I have one right here, right... I have one right here.
Lana's back!
No! I refuse!
This is fine, my earbud fell out.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, no. No, Lana may stay hidden forever. It's fine.
Precisely, sir.
On in the clips.
It's true.
I have one right here around my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed in here, right? Which one are you? That's...
There it is! I found it!
Oh my god.
There is the one right there!
right here. Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 498-9597. 596. That's what my number is, sir.
I see, huh? But the number is 4989596. What? Is shown as being used twice. Oh. I wasn't paying attention to that.
Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the blue badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during the second time when...
Yes, sir. That was when I was spotted. That's when I spotted the man on the security screen.
They had to add it to ID court record. ID card record? That's what it was. Alright, so let's press... I was only doing what I was...
Keep on pressing. Keep on
pressing so good?
Press that so good.
So good. So you were attacked. Can you please explain... Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you, sir? To you. You know, can I read? That'd be great.
It was a knife, sir! A knife!
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. Damn. Throwing that shade.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him.
I can see that. I can envision that perfectly well.
That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept cool... Maybe if you just kept you cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
Okay. I fought for my life, then I did it.
Press.
What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I don't know. I don't look like the... I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir.
He's really into them.
The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife?
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
Yep.
I see. You must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then the next thing I knew...
Yes?
He punched me right in my face, sir.
Oh, poor Meekins. And then press, after that I passed out.
Yep.
Which officer was it that smacked you awake? About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right.
According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice. Or, I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. Rude, judges, rude.
Wow.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim?
He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins.
With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief.
Delivered it? What is that? Videotape?
Yes, sir! That's absolutely right, sir! A videotape, sir! It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
Objection!
Throw your objections.
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks
Wow.
like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Great. Well then, let's have a look.
Show us the
Oh, show us the... Judge got a little prepubescent for a second. It's fine. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
Didn't he say murder a couple
Yeah,
times?
right? A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into?
You can't hear this
That's
music.
terrifying.
Oh my god.
That is absolutely terrifying.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, that chest though. That midsection. Oh, conveniently placed flag! Oh, Meekins. Hey. Oh, he got like cut right in the face.
Yeah, he got wrecked.
Yeah. That's actually really scary.
It would be.
Could have been a lot worse. Like, he definitely could have been the one murdered. So that's Meekins' blood all over the body. Or, I mean, the floor. That we sprayed and it got cleaned up. So it was probably him just dripping blood, so there's never a victim.
Right.
Oh my god, why don't they just test the fucking... Well, I guess it got cleaned up, but test the blood, damn it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's...
Edgy's upset.
That's... Just a little bit. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised? This is going smoothly. Isn't going smoothly. I mean, the salt would have worked too. Security tape added to the court record. Yes, well anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incompetent footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir.
Mystery man. Alright.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do so. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir, so it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
Except for, a little bitch. What's the point? What's this?
Bitch with a cactus.
Exactly. Oh my god. What's the point about a fingerprint? What's this about? What's the point? What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. So are we pressing everything again?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to this time.
Sweet.
So what do you think would be a good thing to press?
The fingerprints?
His face can't be clearly seen in the video, that's obvious.
Yeah. I would think the fingerprints, because we do, I mean, I don't know if I'm too eager about little bitch, but...
No.
Okay. No one else could have unlocked it. There's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, but there is because we didn't see the face.
So it must be him, no one else could have unlocked it? Do you want to do that one?
But yeah, press it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the last one.
Yeah. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Thank you, Phoenix, for being on the same page as me for once.
Sir, if I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock, and it was his hand that tried to thrust my knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again.
Is there a problem with the security video? Yes, there's a problem.
Yep, there's a problem.
Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not be Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction?
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video.
He would want me to point it out.
Well, yeah, he's not just gonna be like, hey, just say
said.
stuff. It's fine.
We'll just take your word for it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Very well. Proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video.
So close your eyes.
How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman? Alright. His waggy finger. I will Hunter by the way.
Alright, see if you notice anything, and if you don't, I'll tell you. Before he gets to it, yes, you want to present it, because if you notice, there's above it, it shows that it's lit.
Oh, so it's already open before he even gets to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
I remember the first time I played this game, and I was going through this footage like, what the fuck do you want?
What do you want from me? Okay, I'm there.
Alright, so you presented it?
I'm about to. I gotta line up. Okay,
yeah,
the light. Oh god! Okay, wait. I accidentally pressed A instead of present. Get on the fucking light.
No, do it on the locker.
Oh, okay.
I don't
locker.
Really have to do the light. Yeah.
Oh, the locker. Take that! The thing that's strange about this video would have to be, this. Confidence. Phoenix, you don't have it. Hold on a second. I need to use my eye drops. Well, I don't get it. Would you mind if I borrowed your eye medicine? Don't look at me with those bleary eyes.
Before your eyes get too teary, perhaps you should think through this again,
Now what do I do? What?
What the heck? That's what it says to do.
Maybe we do put it on the light.
It says, look at Goodman's locker. It's lit up. Present it. If the locker was lit, that means it was open. Goodman's locker was lit, so it was already opened. The judge wants you to show why.
I'm gonna go and do the light and see.
Alright.
Just remember one thing right is what I'm like at, but I'm just going through them because it's the wrong. Please show us the contradictions you speak of. Right. God damn.
Oh my god.
Okay. Let's try this again.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try and do the light.
Okay.
Oh god. I'm doing it again. Okay, there we go. Take that. Oh my god.
There we go.
Oh, okay, sweet.
It seriously says in the guide, look at Goodman's locker. It's lit up. Present it. That makes
Not
it sound like it wants
Yeah.
you to present the locker.
Right.
Not the light above the... Okay, whatever. Fine.
The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins.
Sir, do you mean me, sir?
There's no other Meekins. As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this.
When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If the print matches the registered data, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. That thing's still unsettling. It's like right eye is
Yeah,
crying.
if only you could hear the music that goes with it.
Great.
When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier.
Oh, okay.
Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah!
Order,
Calm
order.
down.
What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime.
But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have been broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut.
Phoenix.
So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? That's... Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator?
Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the electronic system.
Something. Jam the sensor? Say. There's something else that seems out of place in this video.
Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked, Mr. Wright. Please point out the cause for this.
Alright. The piece of paper was jamming it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I'll pause it right when that happens.
So you gotta you gotta make it so that you can put the cursor on it and then present that.
As it's falling out?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like almost in front of the other lockers, but... Is that okay?
I think so, yeah. Should be.
How big is your
Is that-
hitbox piece of paper?
I know.
Present it.
Take that. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier.
We're very close and I'm still unsettled. Apparently the blue badger music is driving everyone nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm lucky for once. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll. God damn it. Phoenix, we can't be sure that item was in the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
Yes. We gotta watch it again, I guess.
Yeah.
This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me.
But the object would have been extremely thin to fit in that door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene.
There just might have been something that fits that description. But, sir! By insulator, you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Do I?
Okay, sure. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the door? You know what? It always covers it. A glove?
There you go.
Is it the glove? The rubber glove?
Yes, it is. Good job.
Done. Sweet.
Done.
Take that! I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that this was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker, but that isn't the case. The lamp tests this. The lit lamp. You mean the light?
Yeah.
On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir, it would appear so, sir!
Is he like choking himself with handcuffs?
Yes, he is. He's into it.
Yeah, apparently. Order, order, order. So, we are to believe then that the victim whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. Prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this.
What?
Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke? Very well, begin your testimony. Mysterious man, too. Alright.
There's one thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use an ID card. When an ID card is used, there is a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card.
An ID card? Record. I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor.
There we go. Who the fuck is 777?
The ID used at 514 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime? Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing that does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases.
Special cases?
Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference.
There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination.
Mystery man number 2. So examine. Hi, find. Hello, hello.
Alright. So do we want to press?
We can present.
Just YOLO?
Well, he's talking about how you have to use your ID card to enter the evidence room.
Right, but anyone can grab it.
Well, right, Goodman didn't have his ID card. So...
Right, because it was in the garage.
Right, so what would you like to present then? Not on the first one, but...
I would say the ID card.
Alright, on the second statement?
Let me make sure which one's the second. Oh yeah, to enter the evidence room you must need it. Okay, let me get to it.
Okay.
Present Goodman's ID.
Yep.
Objection! Wait one moment, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the scene of the crime. The crime scene, same thing. That makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department.
I mean,
I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
Lost item report? It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report.
Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right?
I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Because that's a shocker.
Order. So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't require much tonight. What? Thought. Oh my god! My eyes are not reading today. It doesn't require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Order. Does the prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense. I love you.
That's... I love...
Bravo, Mr. Wright.
Bravo?
Allow me to summarize the defense's argument.
For him.
At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright?
Yes. What's he up to?
That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder.
Okay. That is... Well, I guess that's right. Smooth.
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around.
Rude. Who points their finger around all the time?
Right?
This isn't good.
Well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So
the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot.
Yep.
At the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon.
Ah! Well, I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning.
the activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, the trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana...
What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? I guess object.
Object.
Object!
Objection!
One moment, Your Honor.
What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven.
Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap.
What are you talking about?
He's trapping me so good. This cross-examination has proved
This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Okay. We just really like this badger.
Right.
Well. However, it cannot be said that this is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of this matter. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses would be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident.
This just might be, but this just might be my chance.
Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand!
Mr. Wright, do you mean...
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, who do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room.
The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify. What is his or her name? It is the Texas Cowboy, Jake Marshall.
Yep.
Done. Present him.
Present him.
Pull him out of my pocket. Officer Jake Marshall.
Why him?
I can't let him know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say.
The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed.
Subpoenaed, yeah.
Yeah. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
Court is in recess. Hey! Oh, not yet.
Premature celebration there,
Premature
Kat.
celebration, because I'm pretty sure it'll ask us to save, right?
Yeah, should after this.
February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What do you mean?
You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out.
I haven't figured anything out. Why don't you just fucking tell me, you hoe? Oh my god.
Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Awkward. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later.
Aww. Poor Gumshoe. Oh, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. You better be, pal. Hey! 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 I didn't see you there, Miss Skye. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
What'd you ask?
Oh, oh, ho, oh, ho, ho, oh, ho, ho, oh, ho, 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 ho.
I'm so glad you had to do that. Oh my god, that was beautiful. You did it perfectly. Like, literally could not have been done better. Oh my god, that was amazing.
You mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name?
Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident?
But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here.
Finally.
Here. You might do well to read them.
Helping us with something.
I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
Miss Skye was a witness? Receipt file of SL9 incident files.
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you gonna ignore me?
Emma, but why is your name in here?
Well, my name's in there. I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dock killings. The... Joe Dock... No. No, Lana! That's over with! No!
Emma, wait! She ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere.
Bye!
Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Grant, and Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't just be a coincidence.
Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck.
I'd better take a good look at this file. All right, now to be continued.
Yes!
Hey, and we did it in an hour. Hey. Oh,
gosh.
Sweet. February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Courtroom number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back. Shit.
Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Excuse me while I just, drink from my flask.
Yeah.
Witness, please state your name and occupation. Glug, 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 glug.
How can you say that? Oh, okay.
No. Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization.
Deep.
Occasionally helping the elderly across intersections when needed.
Oh, I know. You're a patrolman.
As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor.
Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before.
Oh, honey.
Oh, you don't call him the howling wind? It's fine.
Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner.
What do you mean?
A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we just get on with this quickly.
I agree.
Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In English, What other language he's speaking in?
Well, he sometimes inserts Spanish words, so...
maybe he means that. Rude.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I love how he just, like, admits that he didn't do his job.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
He's just like, yeah, I'm supposed to do this, but I didn't.
Too bad. I can't say in particular... God damn it. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Rude. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems?
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks inside the evidence room?
Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
Uh-huh. He's not being very helpful.
He's not that good with machines, or with following orders.
He's pretending.
Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Well, day of the crime. Let's cross-examine.
Okay.
Press everything.
So, no. No. Let's not.
Let's not say we did.
Yeah, pretty much. So, we actually have something that can tie him to this whole thing and just be like, you're lying. Because he says, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. He's saying he wasn't there, but we can tie him to it.
Okay, so for the street-side saloon, presenting something there?
Mm-hmm. Like, he had to have been there. Yep.
So, Marshall's handprints?
Yep.
Let's present it. Present.
Present it.
Present. Jesus, there we go. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you... Sorry.
And yet you drag me down here. Explain yourself, partner.
It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint.
Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints will be in there.
Not where blood was, though. Objection! Yeah, right. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood.
Bitch.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Witness, what is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingers were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminal test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
Seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. Rude. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprints.
Very well. You may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Rude. Blood-stained fingerprints.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. Okay. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it.
The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Now what?
We're gonna want to press this first one here.
Okay, like I said.
Hold it! That's because you... How did you put it? Pay your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
What? What do you mean?
I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams.
Deep.
Yeah, I know.
I see.
I walk a lonely road.
The only road that I have ever.
Don't know where it goes.
But it's home to me and I walk alone.
It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently his fingerprint data was never changed. He must have been using the fingerprint lock without even knowing it.
His fingerprints were updated. Great.
Hi, Jeff, by the way. And by the way, hugs. I saw that you didn't have the best day earlier today, so all the hugs. Can we throw some love in chat for Jeff? And anyone else that needs it? Awesome. I doubled, but you know, extra love. Working hard.
All the love.
All the love. Every single bit of it. Everyone's like, yeah, that song. It's a sing-along stream now. All right.
Yeah, sometimes we just break out into songs. It's fine. Sometimes the songs are deadpan.
Sometimes they're deadpan. Sometimes they're crazy. That's fine.
Yep.
All right, so...
Or you didn't know the murderer was wearing gloves. We want to press on. Now.
Okay, press on that one.
Yep.
Red has some passions against Marshall.
Yeah. How do you know that?
I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer.
That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker.
However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint.
Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place his hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint.
That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner?
Unless your first finger and your thumb had the tips of the glove cut off for some reason. Maybe.
But we found the glove.
We found one glove.
Didn't we? Well, we found one glove, that's true.
And also it wasn't one he was wearing, it was one that was used to block the sensor.
Right.
So we don't know the gloves that the person was wearing.
Right.
I know we don't have anything against that, but I'm just theorizing. It's fine. The picture. Or the picture?
This seal of blood in the desert, it's just food for the buzzards.
Oh my god.
There's only one reality, and that's this.
The security tape.
So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise.
You're really confident with that.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Honestly, Officer Marshall. God damn it.
Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner?
Press that? Or
yep.
Present? Okay.
Press it.
What do you mean by that?
You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
Objection. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Convenient. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. Oh, I have to hit next. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, he could leave the room without being caught on tape. Objection! Another objection.
We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Rude. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Show evidence.
Show evidence.
Yellow. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall.
Bitch. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Rude. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. The piece of paper falling out of his locker? Or is there something else?
Yeah, I don't think it's a piece of paper, but there is something sticking out of his locker, you're right.
And it's only after.
Uh-huh.
Because I just looked and it's not there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one we need to do?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. I'm just waiting. He's not as bad as Von Karma, that's true.
Who, Marshall?
Yeah. Fucking Von Karma.
Yeah.
Hi, Soothsayer. Hello, hello. You did make it.
Alright. And pause. And the piece
Pause.
of paper. Or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Present! Take that. Bringing our attention back to the security camera. Is a mistake, I'm afraid. You'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall.
The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Didn't you say you weren't from Texas?
I don't know where he's from anymore.
Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video.
Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner.
The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind to the videotape a bit. Dun 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 dun. Manamana. Dun dun dun. Manamana. It's not there anymore. What a shocker. Oh,
Right.
The white cloth is gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer
Magic.
Marshall. Magic. There's Hogwarts up in this bitch.
Right.
Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened the locker when the camera was turned away. What? Oh no, I'm surprised. Order. It would seem, oh goddamn.
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man.
That's,
So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Yes, it does.
yes it does.
The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine.
How would he open it? That's,
Yeah. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? 'Cause you are.
yep. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it.
What? Like, the facts! Fucking facts! I'm fine.
Facts. Facts are facts.
Facts. Evidence locker. Should I present that?
Yep.
Alright. Take that.
Fingerprint sensor.
Oh, he didn't know.
He's looking mighty guilty.
We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
What kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. Flashback.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There's even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
Wait.
Sucker.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less?
Bitch.
Yeah, what is he doing?
Chewing on jerky, I think. Or his bandana, I can't tell.
No, yeah, I thought bandana, but I guess it's jerky.
Oh, God! It's jerky. Oh, no. What? No! No! I was not expecting that to happen, so I missed the first thing.
I wasn't either. Order. Witness, explain yourself.
If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Olay!
Olay! Please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer.
That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? I mean, I have no idea. Behind the thing?
Well, he can't hide anywhere. Like, there's literally no place for Meekins not to have seen Marshall.
So he's the killer. Well,
no, they think
what's K?
K is killer, but they think Meekins was the killer, remember?
Okay, so victim.
Yes.
That was him.
Right.
So click victim.
Yep, present.
Take that! But he was the killer, so... Officer Marshall! No. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There? But that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Yes,
correct.
Judge.
Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video was Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman.
But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure.
Objection. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted.
When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir.
Yes? And how did Detective Goodman respond?
He suddenly pulled a knife on me.
Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall?
You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it?
I mean, how hard would it be to just go get Meekins and be like, hey, was this
bitch,
Goodman? Was this the
face.
guy?
Yeah.
Was this his face?
Exactly.
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim.
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Really? Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Why do I have to try so hard to prove people innocent, but no one has to prove so hard that someone's guilty?
Also, again, just go get Meekins.
Yeah, seriously.
Like...
It's fine.
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat.
Fuck off.
Right?
This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Please help, Edgy. Edgy.
It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. Teach me.
Teach me.
I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics.
The basics. Mia. No. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Oh my god! I wasn't expecting that.
Nick, try thinking outside the box.
I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise.
Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it had been.
Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument. Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that. He opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is the piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all of our unanswered questions. Get ready to listen to some more of this music. Yep. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. I'm guessing when he was attacked. Maybe his jacket? Maybe his jacket's the white cloth, so it's not actually a cloth, it's a jacket. Because it's got blood on it! So, what do I click on, though?
Just wait.
When he's being attacked and there's blood on it? Okay. Right here?
Yeah.
So when just his shoulder showing with the blood?
Yeah.
Should I click on the blood?
Click on the blood, yeah, and present.
I'm trying. Get out the fucking thing. Thank you. Take that. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room. I don't know what that reason was. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker.
Not bad, huh, partner?
Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? And nothing but the truth?
Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here, now would we?
Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it.
He's like, stop being mean to my boyfriend.
Exactly. Leave him alone.
All right. Seems the time has come.
Marshall's confession.
I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Well,
So why were you... Okay. So the supposed victim was really you?
but there's one thing I still don't understand. Large quantities of blood traces were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. Why didn't you test it?
Yep. I don't know why they don't test anything.
They don't.
It looked like too much blood for that. I mean, he did say he flailed like an octopus.
It's true. So,
Yeah, we still have to cross-examine? Damn.
we need to press everything.
Great.
So let's press the first one. I had to do it.
Yep.
Hold it. When you say it, you mean...
Do you even have to ask, partner?
SL9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
When a case is closed, only the detective who is in charge of it can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
That day was my last chance. That's why I... Press.
I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera.
And the detective's ID card?
I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filing out the lost item report.
I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Normally, that locker shouldn't have opened.
So it opened because a rubber glove was stuck in the door by chance. Then Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall.
Alright,
I
press.
wasn't expecting Officer Meekins.
Mm-hmm.
You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
Oh. When did Edgeworth get so much influence?
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
I don't know what to say. So what happened next?
Press and I managed to escape.
Press. Yep.
So you did your research beforehand.
Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. That seems stupid, to delete footage after only 6 hours.
Like, that's not enough time, especially if you didn't catch something.
Right. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
So what you're saying is on that day?
There wasn't any murder in the evidence room, press.
Yep.
But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
No, you're not.
No, not really.
Not in court.
No.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense.
Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. You can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution.
Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why?
Press.
Press.
But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for those crimes. One thing I can say for sure, he deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it?
I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about.
What happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling, we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. Okay, so now we're presenting, I'm assuming.
Yes. So,
We
want to go back to the...
We're not beating it today, by the way. We're not beating case 5, no.
Oh, God.
We're just finishing up this trial, and then we're going to beat it the next time we stream it, hopefully. Which will be a week from today.
There's an investigation left. There's Trial Former, Trial Ladder 1, and Trial Ladder 2 to go after this. Yep. So yeah, there's no way. It would be another how many hours? And neither of us could. It's too much.
We don't have that energy or voice.
No. No, it
So.
does. It does exhaust you.
Yeah, and I'm playing
Alright.
this on the Wii converted. So
The Wii virtual
emulation? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the virtual console.
Right. All right. Sorry. Say what you were gonna say.
Okay, so we want to go back to that. I can't just forget about the SL9 incident statement. We want to go on there and we want to present something.
Okay, I'm getting there. Okay. Present.
All right. So before we present it, let's check, because we never did. So let's check what we were given by Gumshoe and Lana.
It was the SL9 incident files.
Yeah.
Check.
So we want to check it.
Oh.
So, yeah. Incident, SL9, closed. Criminal, Joe Dark. Crime, serial murder, sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeb Bates, Jason Knight, Rachel Moss, Neil Marshall. Head prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses, Lana, Skye, Emma Skye. Investigation Task Force. Executive investigators were Damon, Gant, and Lana Skye. Head investigator, Bruce Goodman. Investigators, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. So, where in that do you see the connection?
The head investigator and all the investigators.
No, there's something more than that. Like, something that really drives him.
Neil Marshall was a victim, so that's
Yep.
the same last name.
Yep.
Okay.
So, we can present this whole file because we're basically saying, like, you knew
This
the
relates to you.
victim.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Present. Present. There we go. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
I have the SL9 incident file here. The name, Marshall, is mentioned in here. In a list of murdered victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What? A prosecutor? You must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award.
Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. And the case fell into your hands.
What was his... Wait, but what's his relation to you?
He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, chief detective at the time. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reasons for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me.
It's Gant. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Yes, we know. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecution. At exactly the same time at the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance? It's gotta be more than just that.
If no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
But wait, there's more.
But
wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But...
There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries at the police department have been uncovered. No contradictions remain. The murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. There were no errors in the testimony of the witness, Angel Starr. If you have a response, make it one word or less. Well, Phoenix only has one word.
Arg!
Well, it wasn't that one, but okay.
Well,
I rest my case.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
there's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Objection! Hold it!
Your Honor, wait.
Emma!
The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right?
What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor, in this sense...
Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
Aww.
I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings.
Now that she mentions it, the names of both Skye's sisters were in that file.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. Thank you for saving us that time.
So did you find something, right?
No.
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
That's... Is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
And I'm just an attorney.
Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me? Oh boy.
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark.
Sure.
Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If I've ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Sure, I object.
I object.
Objection!
Yellow.
Always object. That is the name of the game. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
The mascot's in the way of the bloody handprint, so that was at a different time.
Right.
Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing from the floor plans?
Oops. The Blue Badger panel.
Yep.
Present it. Take that. GG, I figured it out.
What about that piece of plywood?
The Blue Badger. Mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans on the crime scene, of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
So
watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well,
what?
That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot of the locker.
what?
So that means, what exactly does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces are undeniably found on the locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically.
Emma.
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After you put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on the locker.
So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in.
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand from which a trivial amount of blood fell. But the problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. That explains a lot of blood.
Yes, it does.
It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered.
That's ridiculous. I refute you.
Objection back.
I love that.
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker.
It's just foreplay now.
At this point.
So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves it occurred.
When did the first incident occur? With the key cards.
To surmise, the defense claims that prior to
They're very proud of this art because they've shown it way too many times.
Yep. And the video too.
Oh my god.
prior to the Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was disguised as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in the evidence room.
The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? Proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present the evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? The ID card record.
Yep.
Present it. Thank you. Take it. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the perpetrator would have had to enter the room. In order to do so, an ID card is required. An ID card. Oh, the ID card record. Miles, no. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. Oh, is this the judge the whole time?
No, I think that was Phoenix.
Okay.
But I might have been wrong. It doesn't matter.
If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done?
I never figured you had nerve, boy. Put off the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminal test that the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer.
I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
So it's obviously whoever 777. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's take a look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. A lot of sevens. 7 specifically.
Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of this card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with the repeated numbers. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777-77777.
That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor.
Damn it, I didn't give him extra.
I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present.
What?
Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer.
Gant?
We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
Objection. But that's ridiculous. Just how...
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge.
You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
Another objection.
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay, let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Lana?
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 7777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident.
The SL9 incident?
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Flashback. Oh.
Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why don't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence.
Well.
See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No!
Order, 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 order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir that the chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day.
Ha!
To be continued! Finally! 4.5 hours. Fuck
I'll
yeah.
take it.